Friday Night Funkin' vs Impostor V4 just dropped a couple of days ago and released a load of tracks. So I got the brilliant idea to rank all the songs in the mod, from F tier to GOAT tier. There's a good amount of songs in here, so stick around to the end to see what I consider the best songs on the list. So without further ado, let's begin with what I consider the worst song in the mod. So in last place we have Actin' Sus. Now I don't gotta explain why this song is garbage. I mean, Boyfriend's vocals are literally delayed and just sound like dog shit. Sorry not sorry, but I'm sure the devs would agree. It's an old ass track, literally all the way back from the first version, and definitely doesn't represent V4 as a whole in terms of music. Trust me, it gets way better from this point. I just don't have a lot to say. It sucks. Next song. Boop. The last song of the F tier category is Top 10. Now this track has the benefit of just being an ironic song and is not meant to be good at all, and it does its job well, which bumps it over Actin' Sus. The song was made by the YouTuber Top 10 Awesome, who is notoriously known for god-awful songs that sound like they were put in a wood chipper and put in a toilet and then uploaded to YouTube. But I recommend subscribing to his channel because I can guarantee you'll get a good laugh out of it. But yeah, sucks balls, but at least that's what was intended. The only song in the D tier is Ashes. Now this may be my first controversial take so far, but I just wasn't that huge on the song. It just didn't click with me like the other songs in this OST. Now, that's not to say it's a terrible track, I just don't think it was all that fun to listen to, unfortunately. Maroon was a character I had fun with. His design is cool, he's got that attitude, but it didn't feel like that when I was playing. So that's where my decision of the D tier for Ashes came from. Now, let's move on to the C tier. Now once again, we only have one song in the C tier, and that is Alpha Mugus. The song that started this whole mod, and to be honest, I still think it's a good track. I love how they incorporate the Among Us sound effects into the beat. It's just so smart and it actually sounds good. By no means does it stand a chance against the other songs on the list, but for a first song, it was pretty good. The only reason it's C is because there's so much better in this OST, and the newer version of Sus's Mugus is just so much better. So now, let's move into the B tier. Kicking off the B tier, we have Magmatic. As you can probably tell, I don't really have that strong feelings with Maroon's Week. It was a good track, but it just didn't really click with me. I really like the guitar in the background, but I think it's the vocals in the song that I don't really mess with, because I quite like the instrumental. Kinda just a forgettable song for me. Next song. So, it's Among Us Tuesday. I feel like it was less of a full song and more like a Ferris wheel, essentially. They're just not really much of a song, and it's pretty short. I like the slow vibe of it, but other than that, I just don't really have that much to say about it. Next is Chipping, and once again, just a track I just don't have that big of a connection with, and I truly have nothing to say about it. It sounds fine, and that's about it. And while we're at it, I might as well include Chipping, because I literally think they're equal in how good they are. Just kinda whatever. Don't care for these really at all. Next song. Now we're on to what I would consider the first actually pretty good song, and that is Insane Streamer. The Germa song, baby, and it sounds pretty good. Really like the bass on this song, and Germa's vocals are honestly pretty fun to listen to. I also really like the beatboxing section a good bit. I love when FNF mods incorporate the fresh beatbox. It sounds good as fuck. Well, that's really all I gotta say. Just a good song. Next song. Next up we have Mondo, the beginning track to the Yellow Week. A really bumpin' track and really sets a good motion for the rest of the Yellow Week. Very good track that sets the standard for the 4th week. Did I just say that again? Sorry. Good song though. Next. Next up is Excluding. A very different track, but somehow finds its way of fitting into the whole mod. Since we're fighting off against the ghost, it has that overall unsettling feeling when you start playing. But then as soon as the beat kicks in, it becomes this crazy wild track that is just really good. I was honestly surprised that the song was that good, but yeah, a spooky yet really awesome track, and also the ending is fucking fire when the instrumental pops off. Great track, on to the next. O2 is a very interesting track. It starts off really fucking groovy. This reminds me of a Jet Set Radio kind of vibe. It just sounds really cool as fuck. Then when the red imposter comes in, it just completely switches tones, which I also find really cool. Going from this really hype and fun atmosphere into a more dark and disturbing kind of vibe. And the red imposter has a cool ass chromatic that pairs well with the instrumental. Overall, great track. Next song. Oversight is the third song of week 4, and sadly, one of the only white songs, because this chromatic is really good, and probably one of my favorites of the whole mod. This song is pretty laid back in comparison to the previous 2 songs of week 4, but that by no means doesn't mean it isn't a bumping track. And I love the instrumental with it, really bringing out White's vocals a lot more. I especially love the part where the instrumental gets really slow around the midway point, putting all the focus on White, which just makes the track sound really good. Great track. Time for the next song. This may be an odd placement for this song, but I put Ejected in this spot. Not because it's a bad song or anything, because of course it isn't. B doesn't just mean bad. I just think it did a great job at being a good song, and I just feel like the previous week 2 song does a way better job at feeling like the last song. But that's just a personal placement. Also, there seems to be an intentional or unintentional flower motif in the song at one point. I'm not too sure about that, but let me know. But yeah, Green's vocals are cool in this monster form. And all in all, this was a really good track. On to the next one. I Don't Know is the next track, and it sounds actually pretty good. I know the song is baby and all, but like, putting that aside, it just sounds good. I love the pitch it's in, and the song has a retro style that I think really kicks ass. I don't know why this song slapped as much as it did, but it just did. Not much else to say about it other than it was a surprising banger in this huge ass mod. Alright, time for the next track. Next song is Monotone Attack. This one's like a huge death battle, which just makes it really feel fun to play. And just give it that fun, chilling with your friends kind of vibe. Everyone has really good chromatics, and the whole song is just a huge banger. I love the climax of the song. It gives me vibes of No Villains. I wish I had more to say about it, but I just don't. Just another good ass track in this banging OST. Next song. That was another track I didn't expect to be that good, but honestly, it was pretty good. I love the incorporation of the Among Us sound effects and just a bunch of other goofy sound effects in the song. It was a really fun song to listen to, play, and watch. So yeah, good track. Next song. Good. Next track is the second song of the 4th week D-Lo. This one's like the first song of the 4th week, but like, times 3. More bumpy and just more fun to listen to. Once again, week 4 is dishing out bangers left and right, and it doesn't stop there. But yeah, good track, loved it a lot. On to the next song. To end off the beats here, we have Sauce's Mugus. Saster once again drops another banger with this song. The Chef Impostor has such a sick voice with it literally being a trumpet. And as a certified trumpet enjoyer, this track really stuck it home to me. But no shock that Saster was the one to create the song. But with that out of the way, let's get into the A tiers. Drippy Pop kicks off the A tier with the drippiest song of the mod. There's a lot of references packed into it, so if you've been keeping up with all your Among Us memes and the songs in this mod, you'll love this track. And I mean, come on, the song is Pico, which means it's a certified banger. And hot take, Pico needs to be in more songs, and is severely underused. Okay, next song. Who is such a goofy ass song, but I fucking love it. It's based off a MASH video and it's brilliant. Basically, it's that video in rap battle form. The chromatics are so utterly goofy and it just makes it a really funny song. Not much else to say, other than a stupidly goofy song that worked. Sus's Nuzzes is a reference to the Undertale Halloween hack and it sounds really good. When the beat kicks in the song, it just sounds so good. And I love the look of it as well. The pixel art is good and I like the first person view. Just a genuinely banging ass track. I have no clue what is going on in Crewicide, but it sounds great regardless. I really like Dave's vocals, and the song just sounds strangely climactic as hell, which just gives it that awesome feeling throughout the song, which I really like. It felt like it could have been the final song in a whole ass other mod. It's a good track. Next song. Christmas just feels so jolly, man. It's so upbeat, which really isn't found in this mod, so it's certainly a nice difference in the vibe. Weird as hell for a Halloween week, but it was still a banger. The last song of the Maroon week is Boiling Point, and this is what I wanted to see in the 5th week. An action-packed and heavy-sounding song, and his chromatics sound grimier than the other imposters, which really helps him stand out. It fits Maroon's general vibe and makes for a great week closer. I love the setting of the volcano as it adds to the intensity of the song masterfully. So while the Maroon week wasn't my favorite, it at least ended off on a crazy banger. Next song. Chewmate is honestly such a vibe, it's unbelievable. It kinda reminds me of a Snail's House song, which connects with me a lot since Snail House is a big part of my life. It's just so chill and honestly a great song and a fun week. Turbulence is such a funky track. It feels like it belongs in a different mod, which is so odd, but it still finds its way to fit into the mod. This track is a fun one, and the Red Imposter's vocals are really unique from the other imposters, so it really sounds good. And in the second half, when it picks up speed, it just becomes this mega banger out of nowhere, and has another no villains type climax. I also love Boyfriend's little peace sign at the end. Cool track. The next green song we have on here is Lights Down. I love the shutting off of the lights in this song, and it just adds to the cool factor of the whole songs. A cool B-sides variant of an already great song. Sets the tone for the rest of the week, and it's just a banging song. Next track. Now Spookpostor is a Halloween track, man. This shit is such a spooky banger. The references to Defeat, Sussus Mugus, and other tracks are put in so well they don't even feel like references. The song also has a swing melody at a point, and I love swings, so this song was a really good track to me, just for that alone. A really well done Halloween themed track. Sabotage is an amazing second track to a fantastic first week. Cool melodies and fun charting. Just fun to play and listen to all around. Next track. Room Code is such a jazzy ass song, and it has Pico. Two positives that just make me really happy. The sax is to die for, and Cyan has a jazzy ass chromatic. And I also love the Megalovania reference. Next song. Remember what I said about Room Code? Just take that and apply it to Victory. A jazzy, swingy, and upbeat song, man. I especially like when the song has a little softer point within it, and then kicks right back into the upbeat jazzy feel. It's so freaking cool, man. The whole Jasarsi week was great, and this was an amazing closer to the week. Now this is an excellent song. Reactor just feels so climactic, it's insane. The visuals also encapsulate this. It was just a great experience, definitely check this one out. So much fun to listen to. Titular makes me happy to be a Henry Stickmin fan. Such a fun song. And I know I keep saying this about a bunch of songs, but it's just true. If I had nickel for every time Megalovania was put into one of these songs, then the soundtrack I'd have 2 nickels. Not that much, but it's weird that it happened twice. Alright, enough jokes. Great opener. Loved it. Next track. Kicking back into the Henry Stickmin week, we have Reinforcements. A jumpy song that is basically titular, but times 10. It's so good, man. And I love how they bring Ellie into the song. I have yet to mention this, but Henry's chromatic is just so accurate, it's wild. Just the whole week felt like a love letter for Henry Stickmin fans. A great song all around, no complaints. Next song. As the opener to the mod, Sussus Mugus does a great job at setting the standard. Red's chromatic, the incorporation of sound effects from Among Us, and Boyfriend's vocals actually sound pretty good. With a memorable melody, just makes this the most fantastic track. Closing off the red week is Meltdown. Now I did like Reactor, but something about Meltdown just clicks with me more. Maybe the fact that it's simpler helps. It really feels like a last effort from Red not to lose. Feels just like the right amount of climactic, and it's just in general fun to play. What more could you ask for? Next song. This song might be out of left field, but Torture was a hidden gem in this mod. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Ziffy tracks, but this one was a certified banger. I just loved how collaborative it felt with Jazz, Seavol, and Fluffy also helping on the track. All the different chromatics sound really good, and the instrumental is actually really good. The beat drop on this song is astronomically amazing. This song deserves so much more love, because it is genuinely great. Rivals might be another shock, but like, come on man, Among Us' week just slapped. What can I say? This was just such a casual jammer and popped off when it didn't even need to. I also find the melody really memorable as hell, so that helps. Great track, next song. The first great track we have on here is Neurotic, a song that displays how mentally deranged Gray is. His mind is permanently corrupted and this song shows it. A fast-paced song with an excellent guitar in the background that just builds up as it goes into the finale, where it is blazing fast and super fun to play. It's just that right amount of unsettling and banging. A truly great final song in an amazing week. I'm sad the Plague Doctor Impostor didn't get his own week, because I honestly think it would have been great if all the tracks were like Identity Crisis. This song just feels like a huge celebration to the first few weeks of the mod, showing you all the previous opponents you faced, which I found really cool. The song has a really beautiful sounding intermission that conveys a weird amount of emotion for an Among Us mod, and the use of the guitar near the end is so good. Every time they use a guitar, it's always a banger track, an amazing one-off track, and with that, closes off the A tier, and we can finally make it towards what I consider the GOAT songs in the mod. Let's get into the top 14 tracks. Saraki proves once again why she's the greatest FNF composer of all time, and I will fight you on that. Sussy Bussy has the goofiest name and has one of the most banging tracks in the mod. Lots of references to Among Us memes and the funkiest track in the whole mod. Really puts the Funkin in Friday Night Funkin'. I get heavy Jet Set Radio vibes to it, which is not shocking coming from Saraki. And of course it has the Saraki boyfriend vocals, which I'd argue are the best boyfriend vocals out as of right now. Or maybe I'm just tired of the one that's used all the time. But regardless, this is a funky ass track, and it's a good way to show how good these tracks are in the GOAT tier. Blackout is next, and this song is fantastic. Weirdly enough, I think the instrumental is my favorite part of the whole song. It just sounds so dramatic, and it just sounds so good. It sounds almost angelic in a way, but it still keeps that creepy and unsettling vibe to it the whole time. I also really like Gray's vocals, and I also love the fake out ending at the end that just turns into this climactic finish with Boyfriend and Gray that is just so intense. Seavol does a great job with this track, as expected of one of the GOATs of FNF composing. Let's move on to the next song. Since we're on the topic of Gray, let's talk about Delusion. What a catchy ass song, and a great ass opener to the week. The melodies will get in your head. It's such a short but sweet track. So sadly, I don't have all that much to say about it, but trust me, a banging track for one of the best weeks in this mod. Back at it again with another great track, and the first Pink Impostor track. Pretender is a really epic sounding song with the battle of the two pretenders, an imposter trying to be a crewmate, and a crewmate who was raised to be an imposter. It's such an interesting mirror that you wouldn't expect in an Among Us mod of all things, but still found a way to sound incredibly badass. Perfect track. Next song. Greatest Plan had no right to be that banging of a track. First of all, Charles was a wonderful inclusion in the mod, and his chromatics are very good and accurate, which is always appreciated. Just an overall fun track that brought me back to that early Henry Stickmin vibe. Not much else to say about it other than it was a perfect song. Next track. White and Black's team up in Double Kill is so great. Both of their vocals are great and complement each other pretty nicely, especially when they start singing at the same time. I love the main melody of the song a lot, and it's a pretty fast-paced, intense song, which is to be expected. The Mondo reference is nice, and I like the last part where you face Black one-on-one. It's honestly pretty intense and sets up the next Black song so well. Amazing track, 10 out of 10. I love Danger on a personal level. Everything about this song is so cool. How it starts off chill at first and then the vocals and instrumental just start to pick up as the song goes on. It's all done so perfectly well, and it perfectly portrays the feeling of running away from a giant black monster trying to kill you. The song is pretty short, all things considered, but it accomplishes so much, and that's why it's one of my favorite tracks from this entire mod. They improved Sus's Tugas so much it's remarkable. What went from an alright track in V3 to an absolute top tier FNF song in V4. Whilst being a remix to Sus's Smugus, it's able to stand out as its own thing, and it's debatably better than its predecessor. The beginning of the song honestly just tells you that it's going to be a fun ass track despite it sounding a little goofy. It honestly sounds great, and also shout out to Cyan for the amazingly random saxophone solo. It was greatly appreciated. 100 out of 10 track. When I say Voting Time is a crazy banger, I mean it. It's such a unique feel from the other Impostor tracks, it's so wild. The fact that everyone's vocals sound so good, literally all of them sound incredible. I would genuinely like to hear a non-FNF version of this song because it would probably be one of the craziest bangers of all time. As always, I love the climax at the end from this fun-ass track. Love it, next song. Sasser just doesn't stop with the bangers. Heartbeat is so wildly good, such a different vibe from the rest of the mod. Almost feels a bit tropical and honestly reminds me of Snail's House, which like I've said is one of my favorite artists. Pink's vocals have that by the ocean vibe to them, which helps the tone of the song just feel that bit more magical and lighthearted. Amazing track from Sasser, which is not a shock to anybody. Great track, next song. Finale truly feels like a finale to an outstanding mod. I know the song was made to sound like a generic, dramatic rock song, but I truly don't care when it sounds this good. It truly feels like the culmination to this grand mod in this truly jam-packed and intense song. While maybe generic, that doesn't inherently mean bad, as this song was able to be a truly wonderful final song in this awesome mod. Such a fantastic song that almost feels nostalgic in a way, as it kind of reminds me of an anime Final Fight song. But really though, amazing song. Next track. Pink Wave is like Heartbeat, but just that bit more amazing. I love Boyfriend's unique vocals in this track. It almost feels like a Hotline track, as it weirdly has that Saraki feel to it. But yeah, another tropical feeling song with Pink once again being a crazy banger. Not much else to say about it other than this whole Pink week was probably the best one in the mod, with every song being an S tier track. Truly a worthy top 3 song from this top tier mod. Come on man, we all knew Defeat would be very high up in the ranks from the very beginning. Can we all just thank Rareblend for this amazing track, cause holy crap what a banger. Vocals are genuinely top tier, and that guitar in the background is so badass, it's insane. It just makes the song way better than it has any right to be. The little intermission after having to deal with the barrage of notes is just such a cool little breather, and honestly builds so much suspense in the song. This whole song feels intense and really urges the fact that you can literally not mess up this song at all. And when Black pops off at the end and you have to keep up with him is what truly makes this a top tier song. Only one more song to go. And I think you all know what song that is. I want to personally thank Ethan the Doodler for making so many bangers in this mod, and Armed truly is no exception. My personal #1 favorite song of the mod. This one was just so incredibly fun. The instrumental has to be my favorite besides Defeat, and the whole song really just exerts that climactic energy. I know it's weird that my favorite song from an Among Us mod is a non-Among Us track, but as a Henry Stickmin fan, I couldn't help it. That whole week was just so fantastic, and this song was no exception. It truly felt like final boss music against the Top Hat clan. So amazing, and I truly think it was deserving of the #1 spot of this top tier list of songs. Alright, goodbye.